If you're looking for LinkedIn Sales Navigator training and tutorial, you are in the right place because this video is dedicated entirely to this thing. In this video, I'm going to drive you through the hurdles of LinkedIn Sales Navigator like it's an easy peasy lemon squeezy type of thing. And this will be fun. I'm also going to use a very specific case so that you will understand how the whole thing works better, so you can use it for your specific use case, and yeah, just see how it all works. So here's the outline for our process. So first, I'm going to look at the prerequisites, and then we'll quickly go to LinkedIn Sales Navigator training tutorial, where I will cover these first 5 points. So I will go through LinkedIn Sales Navigator filters, the advanced search, finding companies that fit your ICP, verifying companies, finding the decision makers. So I assume because LinkedIn Sales Navigator is something you use for B2B sales. So if you're a recruiter, this is not the video for you, so you can just go ahead and skip to something, check out another video, because I'm doing strictly B2B sales. And for this specific video, I'm actually going to assume that I'm a agency of some sorts and I'm looking for clients. So I'm looking for B2B clients. Now we've got everything out of the way. Let's get right to it. So prerequisites. Before you want to start really reaching out to find those potential B2B clients, you want to organize your LinkedIn profile, because just like you are looking for top level clients, your top level clients are looking for top level contractors. And that means they're looking for people with clean, organized, pretty LinkedIn profiles, because that's pretty much the only way you can show to the people that you care about, making it really nice and organized. So that means you have to have a really good avatar photo. Yeah. So smiling, professional, good light, all these things. And because it really matters. Okay. It's people look at you. You cannot make first impression twice. So you really want to have that thing dialed in really nicely. Then it's all about having a clear headline with a highly specific offer. I recommend this because people see what you're up to, and they will, in many cases, reach out to you even before you try to sell them anything. Yeah, so they might be very interested in stuff that you're doing, and that's kind of like the way for them to weed out. If they're ready to buy, they will actually jump right into it and actually talk to you about your offer once they see that you've got it really dialed in really nicely. Then post professional useful content. This is a prerequisite, because once you start connecting with people, you want to accumulate as many touch points as possible, because that ultimately is what it's all about. Yeah, developing this relationship with people and making sure that they see your content, see who you are, and basically seeing that you're an expert in your field. That's important. So now that we've got all this stuff out of the way, let's get to LinkedIn Sales Navigator training and tutorial. So to get to LinkedIn Sales Navigator, here I am on LinkedIn. All you need to do is click the Sales Nav button right up there in the top right. And here is LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Once you open it up, it's all over the place, because it's this crazy dashboard with all sorts of different features. And depending on your version of Sales Navigator, which is most likely to be the core, the standard, the basic version of LinkedIn Sales Navigator, you will see different things in the menu. Like I'm on the advanced plan, which is the team plan. So I have a little bit, my dashboard, my menu is a little bit different to what you most likely have, which is totally fine. The main functionality is still here. It's still the same. So now we are going to start our tutorial training with the checking out LinkedIn Sales Navigator filters. So to get to the filter part, you actually need to go to the search bar here, and then once you're in it, you click enter, and then it loads up. Once you are inside, you can click see all filters to kind of get the access to all of them. And before we go inside the filters, check out these two tabs, lead and account. When I first started using LinkedIn, I was like, what is this? Lead, account, makes no sense. And then I kind of figured it out. If you were to translate this from LinkedIn English to standard English, lead is basically a person, a human being. An account is basically a company or a business. So if you're looking for people, then you go for leads. if you're looking for businesses first, and I actually recommend you look for businesses first because you're selling B2B, you go for account. So for the matter of this presentation, for this tutorial and training, I want to show you everything what it has using a very specific use case, which is I'm going to pretend that I'm an agency, a digital marketing agency, an SEO, a PPC agency, a PR agency, whatever agency. I'm going to pretend that I'm one of those and that I'm working with plumbers. My main focus is on plumbers. So that is my ideal customer profile. And I actually have it written down here. So there must be plumbers. I need to have the 1 to 10 people that work in a plumbing company. So it makes sense. So, it's out there. It's not the self-employed guy. He's actually got some sort of a company. Then they need to be based in New York City, metropolitan area, and well, have a website. Yeah, because it's a digital agency. I need to have some sort of an asset I can work with. So that's about it. How do I go from here to finding these companies using all these different sorts of filters? Well, I'll show you. So you go to account first, then again, see all filters. And while I'm here, I'm going to, well, fill in the stuff that I provided to myself earlier. So I'm going to go to the company headcount first, and then you can see LinkedIn has all sorts of different options here. However, I'm going to go for 1 to 10. That's what my choice is to begin with. You can see that I've got like 23 million companies that fit this company headcount. We haven't finished yet. So now we're going to the next filter, which is headquarters location. So as I said, I want them to be in New York City. So I'm going to type it out, New York. Then it gives me a few options. There's New York, which is the state, New York, which is basically the city. And then there is the metropolitan area. I'm going to pick the metropolitan area because I want this to be as close, as neat, as tight as possible. Include. And now I'm down to 400, slightly over that, 410,000 different companies located in this area, which information is provided by LinkedIn. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to use the search keywords box right here because I need to find those plumbing companies. So if you look at the other filters, there's no real way for me to find plumbers. I mean, I can go to the industry and type it in here, but it won't be like I found this thing here, wholesale hardware plumbing, whatever. I'm going to click include, but I will only end up with like 16 results here, which is not very much. So this is a useful filter. You can use this, but in this specific case, it doesn't work so well. Let's quickly run down through all these other filters just for the sake of it. So number of followers. So every page here, it's got number of followers. So you can kind of estimate how popular is a page based on the amount of followers it has. So in this specific case, it's funny, I cannot actually see here. Maybe they don't even have any followers. That can be the case. But usually I don't use this feature a lot. I cannot even see them. I don't know if it shows up somewhere else, but I don't generally use this feature. I mean, I never use this feature because, to be honest, I have no idea why would I need to understand the number of followers, because this number can be easily manipulated. You can get some bots in following your company page for whatever reason. So I don't recommend using this. Department headcount. Well, this is for bigger companies. Yeah. So once you want to understand what's going on in a bigger company, in their departments, in a specific department that you're looking to reach out to, you can definitely check it out. You would pick the department here and obviously find the amount of people that work in the specific department. And then you can also see department headcount growth. I guess this is to filter out the departments that are growing from those that are not growing. So supposedly if your department is growing, it means good news. So you can apply there or sell them something, whatever that is. You can also filter out by Fortune 500 companies. So if they're part of the Fortune 500, depending on, you can see the brackets here. Next is the technologies used. This can be pretty powerful for if you're selling a specific type of a service, which is based on a technology. So say if you are if you're conversion rate optimizer, and then you want to work with companies that use Google Analytics, for example. So you would just tag it here, and then supposedly you will have these you will have all these companies that use Google Analytics filtered out. But in my experience, this can also be a little bit type of a filter that is not really accurate, because I mean, how would the company, like, it's very few companies that actually would leave such information, I would imagine, because there are better ways of searching for technologies used kind of companies like that. Then I missed this one, the annual revenue. So this is potentially a very useful metric, but I don't like using it for smaller companies because it's not really accurate. So once you've got a bigger company which publishes its financial information, or it's just bigger, so it's easier for LinkedIn to estimate the amount of money they're making every single year, then you can definitely go for it. However, as I said, I don't find it particularly accurate, so I don't use this. So we mentioned company headcount. Company headcount growth, similar to the department headcount growth, that is the same. So if you've got the company headcount is growing, seems like good news. Then the spotlights. So hiring on LinkedIn, you can find companies that are hiring. This can be very powerful feature. Recent activities. So if there's anything that's changed, senior leadership change of funding events in 12 months. Again, I'm not sure exactly how accurate would the second one be. The first one, I would assume it'd be pretty accurate, because the person wants to change the position. They would definitely want to make sure they publish this information out there. Connection, first degree connection. So if that is for anybody I know, so first degree connections, the people that are, or that I'm connected with personally, but obviously I don't have anybody connected from these specific industry. So that's why I don't have anything here. Buyer intent is something that you get in the advanced version of LinkedIn Sales Navigator. To be honest, it's not working well at all, because supposedly it should be showing you the buyer intent, how likely they're to purchase anything. So, but it's not really working. So every time I click on it, like, the whole thing breaks. So I'm not going even to bother right now. As I said, like, I've yet to see a company. Maybe it works with bigger companies, which I don't look at, but with smaller companies, definitely no. And then there's this workflow, saved accounts, account lists. So these are really filters, accounts or lists that you can create yourself. So you can also use them to filter some stuff out. Supposedly, like, if I worked with some of them before, I can exclude them, or I can just include them to only work with those guys. So if I go and pick them here. Once you look at the leads, you will have different set of filters, because you are looking at people right now. Yeah, but this is something we will look into in a moment, not right now. For now, I want you to focus on this specific accounts tab here on LinkedIn. So we first find the companies that fit our ICP. So I've shown you, so far we've really flown through the Sales Navigator filters. And right now I'm going to show you some elements of advanced search, and then finding the companies that fit your ICP at the same time. So as I said, right now we're almost like halfway through to finding plumbers that fit my ideal customer profile. So I'm going to, now I need to find the plumbers, right? So I've tried the industry search, but it didn't really work. So now I'm going to the search keywords box here, and I'm going to type in plumbing. And basically what it does is that it kind of filters through all of these results here, more than 400,000, and who's ever mentioned plumbing in either the description or the company name, whatever, yeah, it will be here in the search. So I'm going to type in plumbing and hit enter. As you can see, we're down to roughly 1,000 results. That is a huge difference. And I just like to take a pause and like just can you just see how powerful this stuff is? Because right now, you know the exact number of companies, of businesses that fit your ICP, that operate in New York City metropolitan area, that supposedly are plumbers. It makes it so much easier. So now, instead of just going and pitching, sending all those crazy amounts of like cold outreach emails, instead you just focus on connecting with the decision makers from all of these companies that fit your ICP, and then just establishing rapport with them, and basically ending up selling your services. And it just happens with time. So you won't get it like overnight, but it happens with time. As they become more and more familiar with you, become more and more accustomed to you, people buy from people they know, from people they like, and from people they ultimately trust. So these are the stages of the sales process. So we really need to take our time, going forward. Once you connect with the decision makers, it takes a while developing those business relationships. But once you got those, it is just so easy to get business rolling. You just maintain those relations and it just flows. So before we go there, I mentioned that I'm going to show you the advanced search features. So let's say that I'm looking through these companies and that I'm thinking, like, sometimes I get people that are agencies here. Like supposedly there's like an agency that does plumbing that I also have in the list, and there's a lot of them. And I really want to clean my list from any of these agencies before I even start reaching out to anybody. So what do I do? This is the time when I start using advanced search on LinkedIn, which is also called Boolean search. So Boolean search, and there's a specific part of it here right on LinkedIn. You can check out this page yourself because it's very, very basic. But basically, it's just a bunch of search operators that you can use to modify your search and to find all those, filter out the companies that you don't want to work with and include the companies that you want to work with. So how does this work? As I mentioned, let's suppose that I don't want to work with companies that include the word solutions in them, either in the title or in their descriptions, like anywhere. So I'm going to type in plumbing, not, and then I'm going to write solutions. So now the first result disappeared. So that's how this works. So in this case, say I don't want to work with companies that are either plumber, that are agencies, like they would mention agency, or recruiter, because these are not my target audiences, okay? And I'm going to hit the search button. So right now I'm including everybody that has plumbing, but taking out any company that mentions agency or recruiter in their description, okay? It's easy. So now I've covered this part of like finding companies that fit your ICP and the advanced search. So now I'm going to verify the companies. Verifying the companies is so important, because if you don't do this, you will end up wasting your resources trying to reach out to somebody, to a company that has absolutely nothing to do with your ideal customer profile. And I know so far you might be like, man, but we've checked it out. They're all based in New York City metropolitan area, 1 to 10, all plumbers. Wait for it. So let's check them out. And to verify the companies, you open their profiles here on LinkedIn Sales Navigator. And I'm going to show you this one as well. And I'm going to, basically the first three, okay? I'm going to change them one by one like this. So here's this button, visit website. So you do this for all the companies that you want to work with, and you just look through their websites. So in this case, I'm looking at the phone number, amazing. Their email, amazing. Their website looks absolutely slick. It's wonderful. I absolutely love it. It's beautiful. It's definitely a keeper, okay? So these guys from Plumbing Solutions Inc., definitely a keeper. So now I'm going to the second one. I'm looking at it and I'm reading this. Is your plumber licensed? In this case, it seems this website has nothing to do with plumbing. So it has everything to do with plumbing, but its target audience is getting those plumbers licensed apparently. So it's like Plumbing Foundation of New York City. Doesn't matter what this is. This website is definitely not within my ideal customer profile. So I'm taking it out. Before I even find the decision maker or anything of that nature, I checked out the website, has nothing to do with who I want to work with, closing it down. Now, this website, Jamaica, New York, United States, revenue, 8 employees, hello, estimated quantity takeoff services, New York, architects, engineers, developers, whatever. Looks pretty legit. Checking out the website. About our services, request a quote, phone number, American phone number, weird Gmail. So this is the red flag. But again, I cannot really say anything. The LinkedIn says it's located there. So, I'll keep it for now. Okay. So far, we've verified these websites and we have already filtered stuff out. Yeah. So we're not going to take the second client here. So now what we do is that we need to find the decision makers. Yeah, this is the important point, because even though we are reaching out to companies, we have to find the decision makers first. So to do this, I'm going to check boxes for these two. Yeah, because they've successfully gone through our verification process, and I'm going to hit this view current employees button right here, and I'm using control/command if you're on Mac to open it up. Okay, so here I am, and now let's briefly talk about this lead filters. Yeah, because we are here right now. So as you can see, the amount of different options is a lot higher than in the account version here. Yeah, so this is the accounts, basically businesses, and this is the for people. Yeah, so a lot more different filters. And as I said, I really invite you to do this the way I'm showing you to do this, by using the account tab first, finding the companies first. Because if you start searching through trying to find leads first, it will be a mess. You have no idea how many companies are in the area that you're searching for. These people, they might be working in all sorts of different companies at the same time. It happens all the time on LinkedIn. It really is it really is a waste. So I don't advise you do this. I advise you do this just like I did here. But anyway, let's go through the filters right now. So again, if you are right now, I can filter out people based on the company headcount, pretty similar to what we've seen before. So if they're working in a company that has X amount of people, you can select that. A few options here. So current company, this is the filter that we're using right now, and I'll show you how it's used in a moment. Then, if you want them to be working in a specific past company, you can also pick something here for sure. Company type, public company, privately held, non-profit. This is specifically useful if you're looking for a specific type of a company. Yeah, so if you only want to work with non-profits, or if you don't want to work with non-profits, you take them out, so it's really, really powerful. Potentially company type, company headquarters, location. Yeah, so it has a bit of a different filter. So this is the headquarters location, and there's also like the geography of the actual the actual person where they can be located. So they might have a company headquarters being located in the US, but the person might be somewhere else, so they might not specifically be in the same headquarters position. Now, role. This is when it gets interesting. Current job title. This one is seriously, I would say this one is seriously misunderstood by everybody, because the way LinkedIn works, and remember I just mentioned, the people that you search on LinkedIn, they can have different roles and positions in different companies at the same time. So you might get lost. You don't just might, you will get lost very, very quickly. So you can pick, you might be searching for companies that, for example, you might be searching for SaaS companies, and then you want to reach out to a CMO in a SaaS company. So you type in SaaS and CMO, but it ends up happening that there can be a CMO, but in another company that has nothing to do with SaaS, simply because they mentioned that they also work in this other company. So LinkedIn is really funny like that. So I don't recommend actually using this filter that much. I'll show you what you should be using instead for finding decision makers in a moment. Past job title, you get the gist. Function, that can be interesting. Yeah, so operations, business development, marketing. So again, this filter can be limiting because it's not exactly like, sometimes people pick really weird positions, so you have to be aware of that as well. And yeah, I don't like these categorizations as much. Now comes the seniority level. This is my favorite filter when it comes to finding decision maker. This is really, really powerful, and I'll show it to you in a moment. I'll leave it right now, and we'll get back to it later. Years in current company and years in current position, both very, very good filters. However, again, people sometimes that miss out this information. So sometimes they might not include this information in their profile. Again, happens, but this can be powerful, if you need somebody who's been in a company for a long while, or instead maybe somebody who you want to be in a company for less than a year. Yeah, because they've been out there, and the logic is like, yeah, they want to show themselves. So, you want to reach out to people that just moved in. Then buyer intent. This is something I just mentioned earlier about the accounts. It doesn't work that well. Doesn't work at all, actually. So maybe it's just the company sizes that I operate in, or maybe it's something else. I'm not going to turn it on because it will shut everything down. Category interest. I guess this is something that I also get in the advanced LinkedIn course, so I probably will not even see this. But yeah, I don't know. Like I don't like it really much. Now the spotlights. This one is really really good because you can actually find somebody who has like doing all these different things, changed jobs in the last 90 days. That can be really cool. Mentioned in use. If you're searching for somebody specifically high level guy, you can that can be a really valid hook, when you're trying to find somebody's like, oh, hey Ben, just read about you in Forbes or whatever. Posted on LinkedIn in 30 days, 2 people. That is pretty good filter if you're looking for people that actively produce some content, or for the sake of it, just reposting stuff. So it's a good way to see, to weed out people that are specifically active on LinkedIn. So it doesn't mean that the person that doesn't produce content is not active on LinkedIn. It's just a different level of activity. Yeah. So if they produce content, for example, you can engage with their content. You can leave a like or um, a meaningful comment, and then it'll be a lot easier for you to connect with them. So that is important. So have shared experiences with you, following your company, team link, intro, that's some other stuff. Past colleague viewed your profile in the last 90 days. Viewing profile in the last 90 days can be powerful as well, because there are many people who check out your profile but they do not actually send connection requests. So if we go at the very start, when I mentioned you should be producing post professional, useful content, you can actually see people that check out your profile because of that content, because somebody likes it or comments on it. And then you can actually see these people, and you can actually find these people that see your profile based on this metric, and then you can connect with them. You can reach out to them and connect with them, and the conversion rates for this stuff will be a lot higher as well. So that is pretty really powerful. So that is it for this specific spotlight section. Personal stuff, again, you can filter out people based on the degree of connections. So you can take only people that are within, like, that your first connections. You can have second degree connections, so these are your friends. Third degree connections, group members, specifically team link connections to something else. Again, geography, mentioned that earlier. Industry, similar as to what we've seen in the account stuff. Construction, building construction, like all sorts of different industries. You can filter people out based on that. Years of experience overall. Connections of, you can pick somebody like, let's see if it works. Yeah, like you can pick some people here, like this is like my buddy, for example. You can type him in and you can see his connections. It can be powerful way of generating connections based on, because you will be sending a very very similar request to everybody. You'll be saying, oh hi, I see you also a connection of this one guy, it'd be nice to connect with you. We know the same guy, isn't it great? So that can be powerful spin as well. Now groups, similar to connections, you can find something that is like marketing whatever, and it will actually show you people inside those groups. And again, another cool twist for sending connection requests. Close this one. First name, last name, obvious stuff. You can hit people's name like Joe blogs or whatever. Profile language can be a nice way of filtering out profiles that you only want to be in a certain language. Yeah. So for example, you might sometimes you put all these filters, but you still end up with a lot of people in different language, like Spanish or Arabic or whatever. So you can ask LinkedIn to specifically take those out and they include profile language, which is specifically a language that you pick, English as an example. Then team link connections of, I actually have no, like, team link is this thing that I think it has something to do with like like with asking other people to introduce you to somebody on LinkedIn. So I don't know. I don't use it that much. I don't use it at all. So it's hard for me to tell how it operates. School, yeah, you can basically add anybody who is inside the specific school. Again, a nice twist. We've been to the same school. Let's connect. Now, workflow is pretty similar to what we've seen in the company stuff. So you can create lists of people, like save to list, for example. And then once you create these lists, you can filter them out. Like you can exclude these lists if you worked with these people before, or you can include them to continue working with those lists. So this is something that you get here at the end. So that's pretty much it. That is pretty granular in terms of filters. Obviously, you will find yourself using certain filters more often than others. So in my case, as I said, I use a lot like current company, like by you've seen how we ended up here, and I also use a lot of the seniority level. Um, yeah. So now that we have to go forward, we've been through verifying companies, so now it's defining the decision makers. Now, after I get all these companies that I verified and clicked view employees off to this button here, I open it up, and what I'm going to do is that I go on and exclude every single, and by exclude, and I mean this, then I click here, exclude. I exclude every single company except for the first one, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through all of those one by one. And that's the only way to really make sure that you are leaving no stone unturned, because you want to find the decision makers of every single company, or skip it altogether because it doesn't fit your ICP. So let's get right to it. I'm going to exclude this second company and the first one. Remember how I said that, oh, look at this. It's actually, this company is based in Jamaica, New York, United States, and it's all good and everything is wonderful. Well, when you look at it, when you look at the current employees, you see that all these guys are actually like in India. And I think maybe this one is also like in India, because, it's highly unlikely that he's the only one in New York City. So India, Pakistan, India. So in this case, that's how powerful this stuff is. Once you check out the employees of this specific companies, you're like, oh, it doesn't fit my ICP at all. So now, instead of like wasting your time and energy by reaching out like cold email in this company, because you could see their email on their website, and I'm just going to show it to you right here. Once again, once you open up their website, see this email, it's right here. So like a typical lead gen guy, he'll take this email or use some automation to kind of scrape it off their website and start like bashing them with emails. But wake up. They're like not even inside they're not your target audience. They're located in India. They've got their own capacity to do whatever they wish. So, and the reason why they're here is probably because they're using a rank and rent model when they have this website, and then they get all those leads coming in to their website organically, and then they just sell those, or they can be just ranking this specific website and renting it to some guy that doesn't have a website, that doesn't want to bother with any website stuff. That can be the case. Whatever that is, they're not our ideal client. We don't really care about what they're up to. So we are going to exclude this company, and now we're going to include this company that we checked out. And everything is nice and easy here. It's got 5 results, 5 employees, and we can see that this is the owner, master plumber of Plumbing Solutions. He's our guy. He's the guy we need to be reaching out to. Before I go and show you how to connect with the guy, because there's a trick as well, before I do this, I want to show you the filter that I've mentioned, that I really love this, but that I haven't really shown you how to use just yet. Seniority level. So I'm going to click the plus sign here, and again, because the company's sizes that I'm looking through are very, very small, 1 to 10 people, I'm going to click include owner/partner. And once I do this, he's the only guy that is left. So if you have a whole list of companies here, you can just leave this filter on, and then every time you exclude one company and include another one, you will just have this owner kind of partner appear right on top right away. So what if your company is huge, right? What if you're searching like for like 11 to 50 or 51 to 200? What do you do? There's a bunch of options here. So once I'm going 11 to 50, I would generally pick anybody who is, well, obviously owner partner, because 11 to 50, you can still talk to the owner, all right. You've got anybody who is C-level, I would definitely add those. I would potentially add directors. I would also add seniors. And dependent on the company size, the company structure, the weird names they can use for their employees, and I would just play with all these filters, because sometimes I can exclude one and include another to quickly find somebody in the inside there. Sometimes I might even need to use this search keywords, yeah, because say there's a bunch of different C-level guys and directors. So for example, I'm looking for somebody that has to do with marketing because I'm selling marketing services. So I'm going to go and type in marketing and going to have like search, and generally speaking I would end up with a lot of results, like results of profiles that include marketing in their description. So in this case they're more likely to do anything with marketing than the other folks. So that's how I would do this as well. Right now it makes no sense, so it's very easy to see the owner. I can even take this bit out for sure. So that's how it is. All right, so all filters right now covered. Now we found the decision makers, and actually it's all about connecting. Well, I'm going to show you how to connect with them because it's actually quite tricky, but it shouldn't be. So connecting with the folks right now. Now what we need to do is we are going to click on their name, and it prompts this sidebar on the right. So you can of course click these three dots here and click connect, but what ends up happening is that you will end up inside LinkedIn Sales Navigator jail, which means that it's almost like a shadow social network that runs on the back end of standard LinkedIn, free standard LinkedIn. So if you connect with this guy from inside LinkedIn Sales Navigator, this connection will stay inside LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So if you decide to cancel, you will kind of lose it, and you would have to reach out to the guy once again. You would also have separate messaging inbox, and to me this is the biggest issue, because I wouldn't cancel LinkedIn Sales Navigator anyway, but I hate having like two separate inboxes, because this inbox has nothing to do with a standard LinkedIn inbox that I have. There are two separate inboxes, and it kind of sucks. So I would instead advise you to connect with these people using LinkedIn right away. Yeah, and to do this, well, you click on their name, you get the sidebar thingy, and then you click on these three dots here. You click on those, and then you've got this little kind of menu pop up, and all you need to do is click view LinkedIn profile. Again, I'm using Control Command if you're on Mac to open the separate tab, and there I have this guy show up. So pretty good. So all I need to do now, and I'm just going to show you real quick. So if I was to view his profile and connect to him through this menu, it actually ends up being on LinkedIn Sales Navigator. And you can see the difference, right? So there is a difference. So you want the standard LinkedIn account. Now, what you want to do is you want to send the connect with a guy. You're going to click connect. And I just recommend you send the connection request without any additional note, without any additional personalization. Doesn't really matter, because if the strategy works like this. So you reach out using like a standard connection request, don't do anything else. If they accept, and they can accept at the rate between like 10 to 20+%, depending on your niche, your profile, all these things. Once they accept without any personalization, great, you are connected. If they do not accept within maybe a week or 10 days, it may mean two things. So they are not active on LinkedIn. That is totally plausible, especially for niches like once they're hands-on, like physical stuff like plumbing, or they are just ignoring your connection request because whatever that reason, they think that you might spam them or whatever that is. That's totally fine. So you give them that 7 to 10 days, maybe more, depending on how you feel. You can then withdraw the request. Once you withdraw the request, LinkedIn allows to resend the request in approximately 3 weeks. And then in 3 weeks, you can try again by using personalization note. Okay, so you can say, oh man, and it's usually about like including something personal. You can mention, oh, I saw you did this bit, like how cool, and that's it. And that's how you connect. Don't ask them for like, oh, can I connect with you or anything. You just mention that it's cool stuff and just send a connection request. And that's pretty much it. How it all works. Now, of course, once you connect, you have to start building rapport and eventually sell with it. I'm not going to cover this in this specific video, but I have covered it in my previous videos. I also covered the stuff about LinkedIn profile optimization. So I highly recommend you check it out to kind of up your entire LinkedIn game of B2B sales and just generally understanding how this entire stuff works together. Guys, I hope this video has been helpful. I hope it serves you well. If you found it to be absolutely brilliant, or at least a little bit, if you enjoyed my company, smash that like button for me. Subscribe to the channel, leave comments and questions. I'll be there to help you out. Till then, I'll see you in the next video.